Welcome to Real Estate IQ Wisdom for Smart Moves. We will explore the insider secrets tailored exclusively for Silicon Valley home buyers, sellers, and investors, arming you to conquer the unique real estate landscape. So, without further ado, let's dive into this exciting conversation. Today, we welcome Travis Palser, the Vice President of Operations at HomeGuard. With expertise and a keen eye, he has assisted numerous Silicon Valley homeowners and investors. His journey and insights offer valuable lessons in property care and investment. Thank you to our sponsor, TradeMyHome.com, for their community commitment and for making this podcast possible. In real estate, roof inspections are crucial but may miss 25% of hidden issues, burdening buyers with repair costs. Diverse inspection costs create uncertainty, with 40% of buyers concerned about accuracy. Standardizing roof inspections is vital to build trust and protect investments in the real estate industry. Our host today, Shared Gupta, is a real estate broker in Silicon Valley and brings a wealth of life and professional experience to his role as a podcast host. The following content is only for informational purposes. Please consult a licensed consultant for your specific situation, or if you need any specific legal or tax advice.
Travis, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Why are roof inspections critical for both buyers and sellers during a real estate transaction?
Well, the roof is a very large system of the house. It's often pretty expensive, and it keeps water from being inside the house. So you want to know you have a good roof, and you don't want to make sure there's no leaks, no areas where water can intrude into our house, causing further damage down the road. The biggest enemy for a house is water. So The roof is a vital component of the home.
What are some key components and areas which are examined during a roof inspection?
So the first thing that we're going to look at, and probably one of the most important, would be the surface of the material. And then underneath that, we have an underlayment, right? So we're going to try to examine that as best we possible. There's also then decking underneath the underlayment. Now, the decking is kind of hard to look at during a roof inspection because it's covered by our material and our underlayment. But that is a component of the roof. The other areas we're going to check are valleys. Mm-hmm. Valleys would be where two parts of a roof meet. There's some metal flashing that comes down there. And then we're also going to check the flashing on any roof-to-wall connections because that's an area where water could penetrate. So that's very important to check. And lastly would be your gutters and downspouts all the way around that roofing system. We're going to check those and see what condition those are in.
Can you explain the different types of roofing materials and what are their pros and what are their cons?
Sure. This is actually a common question that we hear most often. And I get asked this, hey, Travis, what type of material do you recommend for my roof? Your most common is composition shingle. That is what we see almost everywhere. And it's honestly the one I would recommend the most because it has a good lifespan. You can get 40 to 50-year roofs made out of comp shingle. It tends to be cheaper and it just holds up really well and is easy to fix and repair. And then another common material you're going to see often is tile, right? Tile has some cons there to that. And that's once tile breaks, you have to replace that piece of tile. And when a tile breaks, it can lead to a leak, especially if our underlayment is not in good condition. So when we have a tile roof, the underlayment is one of the main barriers of protection for water because, again, if tiles crack, instant leak of water getting in. So those are the two common materials. And then with flat roofs, you're going to see a common material being used a lot now is what we call TPO. It's a single ply plastic membrane that is laid across the surface of the roof, and all the joints and areas where pipe penetrations occur are sealed with this plastic. Mm-hmm. And that is the most common one we're seeing for the flat roofs, and the one that I would recommend if you have a flat roof. Then there is a rolled composition. It is what's similar to the material we would see on a comp shingle roof, except it's rolled out, right? And it's just rolled out a big long ways. That is another common flat roof material. I wouldn't recommend that as much as the TPO. The TPO is definitely a better material. It's a little more expensive though. So those are I would say your most common materials I'm seeing. If we get into high-end roofs, luxury homes, then we might see metal roofs. We might see slate roofs. Now we're seeing solar, the Tesla solar roofs. Those are becoming a little more, I'm starting to see them a little bit more in Silicon Valley here. Those are definitely high-end, more expensive, There's some pros and cons to those. And if you're going to consider those, definitely talk to a roofing contractor to get the ins and out on those materials because they are very expensive roofs.
How does the age of a roof impact your inspection results?
When we talk about the age of the roof, the biggest issue is if it's past its life expectancy. Because when roofs do go past its life expectancy, that's when you're going to start running into issues where material is starting to fail, leading to leaks and water penetration, right? And that's what we want to avoid. That's the whole point. Now, we could patch areas. We can do little spot repairs to try to fix that. But at that point, when you're past the life expectancy of the roof, you're just going to want to replace it. So that's the biggest thing we're looking at when we're talking about age. When we're underneath that life, we're below the life expectancy, and most roofs are going to be around 30 years, 25, 30 years, then, you might have issues do come up. Problems can happen. So at that point, spot repairing would be the thing to do. So the biggest thing comes down to with the age is whether or not to replace the roof or to do spot repairs. Is it worth it? Does it justify the cost to do those spot repairs or to replace the roof? And when we're talking old roofs, I always recommend just replace the roof.
What are some common signs of roof problems?
Well, that's an easy one. As a homeowner, you're living in the house, right? So the biggest one you're going to be on the lookout for and you're going to see that tells you something's going on is the stains on the ceiling, right? If you're in a 2-story home, those stains would usually be more evident in the upstairs, in the bedrooms or whatnot. You start to see a stain on that sheetrock, and it wasn't there, and then some rain came, and now you got the stain. Well, that tells you there's a leak somewhere. So that's going to be your biggest sign. Just be on the lookout for stains that used to not be there. Suddenly they are. Keep an eye on that. Do you see water running down in areas where you don't normally see water of? Keep in mind, water does travel. It's going to always find the path of least resistance and head down to an area and just keep going towards the ground, right? That's what it's going to always do. It's just going to head downstream. So you may see water in one area, could be coming from a totally different area of the roof. But that is always your indicator that there's probably something wrong with my roof. So then when you do see that water, call a roofing contractor out to come investigate and try to find out where that source of water's from.
How do the weather and climate conditions of an area affect roof conditions?
That's a good question. And here in California, the biggest factor on the roof would be the sun, right? And that's kind of what does it to a lot of roofs here is just that sun, that intense sunlight just beating down on that roof during the summer when it's extremely hot can lead to deterioration in the roof. And this is where ventilation of your roof comes in and is extremely important. A well-ventilated roof is going to last a lot longer than one that's not because that heat buildup will wear the material out a lot faster. So that's always a big consideration I always point out is ensure your roof is well ventilated. And if there's ever reports in your home inspections stating that there's poor ventilation or anything, be concerned on that. Make sure you look into that because that can lead to a lower lifespan on your roof, right? So that's important. And then if we start to head towards the east, heading towards the mountains, we get up into Tahoe, while you're dealing with snow, right? And snow definitely affects the way our roof is, our roof load, how it's built, how we shed that snow. Roofs, you tend to have a steeper pitch to make snow go off. So that is something to consider if you're ever planning on purchasing a home up in the Tahoe area, right? We don't get snow in most of California, but some areas do. So keep that in mind.
Get a guaranteed cash offer on your home from TradeMyHome.com, powered by Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. We provide upfront written offers at a price agreeable to you. Experience a guaranteed sell with a hassle-free, highest and best price sell within your time frame. Are you selling your home in the next 3 to 6 months? Text PAIR to 408-740-7400 for a free and no obligation professional equity appraisal report. For more information, visit TradeMyHome.com or call 408-740-7400. Remember, at TradeMyHome.com, your home is sold guaranteed or we'll buy it.
Can you share some tips for homeowners on extending and maintaining the life of their roofs?
Yeah, and there's a few things we can do, right? Biggest thing is keeping the roof clean. A lot of roof debris can cause issues. If we allow leaf and dirt to build up in our gutters or in our valleys where our flashing is, over time it just builds it up. It traps moisture, right? That buildup of the leaves will trap moisture underneath, which can deteriorate the condition of the roof. Or if we have shady areas of the roof where we have trees overhanging, that can impact that area of that roof because it doesn't get much sun, moisture stays there, moss begins to grow. So try to watch out for tree branches impacting our roof, watch out for roof debris, make sure the gutters are free and clear of the leaves. You want to clear those out annually, maybe once a year, get up there, clear them out. That way water's always flowing off the roof and flowing away. And then if we have a tile roof or any sort of special roof, you need to make sure that when people go up on your roof to do any sort of maintenance work on anything, make sure they are qualified and understand how to properly walk on a tile roof. Because if we get someone up who's not qualified to, they can break tiles and crack tiles, right? And then that can lead to potential areas of vulnerability where water is going to come in.
Right. Are there any building codes or regulations that homeowners should be aware of?
Well, as a homeowner, you don't really need to be concerned about what building codes do exist. There's tons of them, and you'll never remember them. I won't even remember them, right? So the best thing for you to do is just hire the right person to work on your roof or to install a roof, right? Make sure they're a licensed and bonded contractor. They're insured. They have good reviews on Yelp and other review sites, because that's the biggest thing. If you hire a contractor who's not so good and then they don't get permits, they don't follow installation properly, they violate codes, things like that, then you may run into issues with your roof down the road. So that's the biggest thing. Do the research to find the right contractor to do that work on your roof.
How frequently should homeowners inspect their roofs, and what is a typical cost associated with a roof inspection?
Typical costs at HomeGuard, we charge $295 for a roof inspection. Now, we have this great plan where if you order a termite and home inspection from us, you'll get that roof inspection for free and no additional charge. Or you have the option to pick another special type of inspection we do, like a pool or sewer lateral inspection. All have roughly the same value. Now, in terms of sorry, what was the last half of that question?
Yeah, sorry, I did that. So last half is how frequently should people do
how
roof inspection?
Frequently? Okay, good. In terms of frequency of inspection, it's something you may want to do every few years, maybe have somebody come out and take a look. If you have a brand new roof, you're under warranty. So don't worry about it while you're under warranty. Wait till that warranty expires. Check with whoever installed that roof to see what warranty they did offer you. Make sure you have copies of that and all that information at hand. Now, once that warranty has run out, maybe that's a good time to have an inspection done to see where your roof is at now.
How can roof inspection findings affect real estate negotiations during a home buying transaction?
Well, the biggest thing is cost, right? That's, as a home buyer, that's what they're looking at. What cost are they going to have when they get into this house if that roof is in poor condition or needs some replacement? So you're going to talk to your real estate agent. You're going to work out negotiations with the seller. Seller's going to work with the buyer's agent, come up with a figure on that. Then really it comes down to market, right? So again, talk to that real estate agent, see where the market's at. Maybe you do want to negotiate some cutting of costs to compensate for the replacement of a roof it's needed, or maybe not. It really is going to depend on that market. So always talk to your real estate agent to see where the current market is at.
Can you provide some examples of the issues which you discovered during your inspections and their remedies?
Sure. There's a lot of them, right? Now, the most common ones that we see would definitely have to do with maintenance, right? Keeping gutters clean and free of debris, as well on the roof, keeping sure all that leaf is blown away and moved away. Those are common. The other things common is cracked tiles, broken tiles from people walking on the roof who really weren't qualified to do it. So again, that's why I bring it up earlier. It's important to make sure that whoever is walking a roof knows how to do that, right? And then other common issues is flashing. Flashing is a big one. I see anywhere where we have a roof penetration, that's a point of vulnerability, right? Where water could get in. So we have to flash that properly with metal to ensure that no water gets in behind the roof covering material and into the roof, pass through the roof decking into our attic or into our ceiling below, right? So flashing is huge. And a lot of times where we see they've cut holes in the roof to make for vents or to install solar panels, that's a big one. Though the solar company comes on and puts solar panels and they don't properly integrate those solar panels into the roof, right? And then that creates a problem. So, I'd always recommend if we're having solar panels installed, double check that work. Make sure that those solar panels have been properly integrated. Maybe have an independent roof contractor come out, take an inspection, like call us up, have us take a look at those and see that that was done correct.
Thank you so much, Travis, for being part of our show today. Keep up the great work, and let's stay in touch.
Awesome. Thank you for having me. I really appreciated talking.
For the next episode of Real Estate IQ, featuring Travis Palser, the Vice President of Operations at HomeGuard.
Well, the pool is actually a pretty expensive system. It has a lot of maintenance costs, a lot of installation costs, upkeep that goes along with it. So you do want to know.
With expertise and a keen eye, he has assisted numerous Silicon Valley homeowners and investors. His journey and insights offer valuable lessons in property care and investment.
Buying a house and we have a pool and we have children, or there are children in the neighborhood, we want to make sure it's safe so that children do not access the pool when they're not supposed to.
Check out our full episode on Tuesdays at 5 o'clock Pacific and 8 o'clock Eastern on YouTube and Apple Podcast. Thank you for listening to the podcast and acknowledging the wisdom of smart moves in real estate in Silicon Valley. Please share this episode with a friend, subscribe, and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts at Real Estate IQ. Thank you to our sponsor, TradeMyHome.com, for their client commitment and for making this podcast possible. If you're considering buying or selling a home, visit TradeMyHome.com. Until next time, remember to stay ahead in the real estate game.